Roland the Soldier. Roland was one of the original Vault Hunters from Borderlands 1, a straight-laced soldier who defected from the Crimson Lance because he had the crazy idea that corporations shouldn't own armies. His specialty? The Scorpio turret. Part gun, part shield dispenser. Basically a military vending machine. While Lilith bent space and Mordecai sicked his murder bird, Roland's trick was pressing deploy. Not flashy, but when bullets flew, everyone hid behind his turret. In Borderlands 2, he leveled up into leader of the Crimson Raiders and was promptly killed, proving Pandora punishes responsibility harder than bandits ever could.
Lilith, the Siren. After Roland, the spotlight shifts to Lilith, one of only 6 sirens in the universe. Her ability, Phase Walk, let her slip into another dimension, vanish from sight, and reappear in a burst of elemental fire. By Borderlands 2, she had risen as a leader of the Crimson Raiders after Roland's death. In Borderlands 3, Lilith lost her powers to Tyreen, but reclaimed her role as commander, ultimately sacrificing herself to stop Elpis from colliding with Pandora. While her exact fate remains unclear, Borderlands 4 confirms Lilith's return, continuing her legacy as the most enduring siren.
Mordecai the Hunter. From the original Borderlands crew, Mordecai was the sharpshooter, a drifter who preferred distance, precision, and a stiff drink over small talk. His action skill, Bloodwing, unleashed a trained raptor that tore through enemies before Mordecai ever had to reload. In Borderlands 2, he returned as a Crimson Raider sniper, but when Handsome Jack killed Bloodwing, Mordecai snapped, turning grief into vengeance. By Borderlands 3, he was older, rougher, and still loyal, supporting the Raiders as their marksman. Unlike Lilith, however, Mordecai has no canon appearance in Borderlands 4, at least so far.
Brick, the Berserker. The 4th original Vault Hunter, Brick, lived up to his name, a wall of muscle who preferred fists over firearms. His action skill, Berserk, let him charge headfirst into battle, pounding enemies into paste while soaking up damage. In Borderlands 2, he returned as a Crimson Raider, leading the slabs and smashing Hyperion troops with his bare hands. By Borderlands 3, Brick was still at it, fighting alongside Mordecai as part of the Raider leadership, proving fists never run out of ammo. Like Mordecai, as of now, Brick has not been confirmed as appearing in Borderlands 4.
Athena the Gladiator. After the original Vault Hunters made Pandora infamous, the series hit rewind. The pre-sequel pulled us back to Elpis, Pandora's moon, during the chaotic rise of Handsome Jack. Here we met Athena, once a Crimson Lance assassin for Atlas, trained to kill without hesitation. But loyalty has limits, and when the corporation burned her one time too many, she betrayed the Crimson Lance. She was then imprisoned but later escaped, vowing vengeance on the Crimson Lance. She fights with the kinetic Aspis, a shield that swallowed enemy fire and hurled it back with interest. Athena's story continued in Tales from the Borderlands, where her relationship with Janie Springs became a central thread. She does not appear in Borderlands 2 or 3, and as of now, Athena has no confirmed role in Borderlands 4.
Wilhelm the Enforcer.
In the pre-sequel, Wilhelm joined Jack's crew as the Heavy, starting mostly human, but steadily replacing his body with cybernetics, until he looked more machine than man. His action skill, Wolf and Saint, deployed drones that handled offense and healing, making him a one-man squad. Where Athena broke free from Atlas, Wilhelm leaned into servitude, becoming one of Handsome Jack's most loyal killers. By Borderlands 2, that loyalty sealed his fate. Wilhelm appears as a boss fight on the mission A-Train to Catch, where the Vault Hunters gun him down. He never returns in Borderlands 3 or 4.
Nisha, the Lawbringer.
While Wilhelm was all steel and servitude, Nisha was something else entirely. A gunslinger with a sadistic streak. In the pre-sequel, her action skill, Showdown, boosted speed, accuracy, and fire rate while auto-locking onto enemies, letting her mow down entire mobs with brutal efficiency. Her cruelty wasn't an act, it was her defining trait. And it carried forward into Borderlands 2, where she resurfaced as the Sheriff of Lynchwood. There, she ruled through intimidation until the player put her down in a boss fight.
Claptrap, the frag trap.
Of all the Vault Hunters, none caused more confusion or comedy than Claptrap in the pre-sequel. Promoted from comic relief mascot to playable character, this little robot wielded the bizarre action skill vaulthunter.exe, which scanned the battlefield and activated a random ability. Sometimes it was helpful, like summoning a gun wizard. Other times it was a disaster, forcing the team into uncontrollable dance parties. Lore-wise, Claptrap's history is grim. Hyperion built his kind to be disposable, then Jack ordered their extermination. Despite that, this lone survivor kept stumbling back into the spotlight. In Borderlands 2, he served as a persistent mission giver and reluctant Crimson Raider ally, while in Borderlands 3, he kept the role of comedic sidekick, handing out quests and bad ideas in equal measure.
Jack's doppelganger, Timothy Lawrence.
One of the pre-sequel's DLC Vault Hunters wasn't Handsome Jack himself, but his unlucky body double, Timothy Lawrence. Forced to undergo surgery to look and sound exactly like Jack, Timothy lived in his shadow, literally dying for him when needed. His action skill, Digijax, summoned holographic copies of himself that fought alongside him, a cruel reminder he was never more than a disposable stand-in. While Timothy doesn't appear as a Vault Hunter again, Borderlands 3 expands his story. He shows up in the Moxie's heist of the Handsome Jackpot DLC. Older, bitter, and still haunted by the life Jack stole from him.
Aurelia, the Baroness. The second DLC in the pre-sequel, Aurelia Hammerlock, sister of the NPC Sir Hammerlock, brought aristocratic cruelty to the Vault Hunter roster. Her action skill, Cold as Ice, let her hurl a deadly frost shard that ricocheted between enemies, freezing the battlefield while she mocked them with upper-class disdain. But Aurelia's story didn't end on Elpis. In Borderlands 3, she returned as a boss fight on Eden 6, revealed to be allied with the Calypso twins and exploiting her own brother's misfortune. The Vault Hunters kill her during the campaign. Axton, the Commando. Borderlands 2 raised the stakes. Pandora was under Hyperion's boot. Handsome Jack had the vault key, and new Vault Hunters stepped in to stop him. Among them was Axton, a disgraced Dahl sergeant, court-martialed for insubordination. Translation: he craved glory more than following orders. Exiled from the military, he became a Vault Hunter for hire. His action skill, the Saber Turret, was a sleeker evolution of Roland's Scorpio, slagging enemies and cutting down mobs with ruthless efficiency. Cocky and sarcastic where Roland was disciplined, Axton hasn't reappeared as a playable character since, and has no confirmed role in Borderlands 3 or 4. Maya, the Siren.
Borderlands 2 didn't just give us a new soldier, it also introduced a new Siren. Maya was plucked from the monastery of Athena, where she'd been raised as both a holy figure and a weapon. Her action skill, Phaslock, suspended enemies in midair, turning the battlefield into her personal shooting gallery. Unlike Lilith's chaotic phase walk, Maya's gift was control. She quickly became a fan favorite, combining raw power with compassion for Pandora's people. In Borderlands 3, her story ended tragically when she was killed by Tyrene Calypso during the campaign, passing her siren powers to Ava.
Zero, the Assassin.
Among the new Vault Hunters in Borderlands 2, none were stranger than Zero. A faceless assassin who spoke only in cryptic haikus, Zero's origins remain one of the series' biggest mysteries. Human, alien, or something in between. His action skill, Deception, projected a decoy and cloaked him in invisibility, letting him line up devastating critical strikes. On Pandora, he was an enigma with a sword, slicing through Hyperion forces while speaking in riddles. Zero later reappeared in Borderlands 3 as an NPC, assisting the Crimson Raiders in missions. But as of now, he has no confirmed role in Borderlands 4.
Salvador, the Gunzerker. If Borderlands 2 had a poster child for overkill, it was Salvador.
Standing just over 4 feet tall, this muscle-packed gunner made up for his size with an action skill that broke the series in half. Gunzerking, the top to dual-wield any 2 weapons at once. Rocket launchers? Shotguns? Both at the same time, why not? Lore-wise, Salvador grew up on Pandora and was condemned for being too violent, which is saying something on a planet of psychos. He reveled in chaos, turning every fight into a lead storm. Salvador does not appear in Borderlands 3 and has no confirmed role in Borderlands 4.
Gaige the Necromancer. Introduced as DLC for Borderlands 2, Gaige quickly became a fan favorite. A high school prodigy from Eden 5, she built a robotic companion named Deathtrap, then accidentally killed her rival during a science fair. Fleeing authorities, she ended up on Pandora, where accidentally killing people is practically a resume. Her action skill summoned Deathtrap, a floating buzzsaw robot that shredded enemies, while Gaige blasted from cover. Quirky, sarcastic, and endlessly chaotic, Gaige brought comic relief with a dark edge. She doesn't appear in Borderlands 3, but shows up in the Commander Lilith DLC epilogue to Borderlands 2.
Krieg the Psycho. The second DLC Vault Hunter for Borderlands 2 was also the wildest. Krieg, a bandit-turned-experiment who became both playable character and tragic figure. His action skill, Buzz Axe Rampage, let him charge enemies with an oversized axe, healing as he killed. On the surface, he was pure chaos, screaming murder threats and nonsense, but inside, a quieter voice fought for control, the remnant of the man he once was. Krieg returned in Borderlands 3, not as a Vault Hunter, but in his own DLC, Psycho Krieg and the Fantastic Fustercluck, which explored his fractured mind. Amara, the Siren. Now we move on to Borderlands 3. Pandora's chaos had spilled across the galaxy, and the Crimson Raiders were rebuilding under Lilith's lead. But a new threat rose in the form of the Calypso twins, streaming their cult of violence to billions. Enter 4 new Vault Hunters, each bringing their own brand of destruction. Among them was Amara, the latest Siren in the cycle. A famed brawler from Partali, she rejected mysticism in favor of fists, using Phase Cast, Phase Grasp, and Phase Slam to summon massive astral arms. Where Lilith vanished, Amara embodied raw power, helping crush the Calypsos. Moze, the Gunner. Borderlands 3 needed heavy firepower, and Moze delivered it from the cockpit of her mech, Iron Bear. A former Vladov soldier, she walked away from the endless cycle of war, but didn't leave her hardware behind. Her action skill let her summon Iron Bear in the middle of combat, equipping it with miniguns, railguns, grenade launchers, basically a walking arsenal. While Amara fought with mysticism, Moze fought with steel, turning every battlefield into a scorched crater. She played a central role throughout Borderlands 3's campaign, but, like her fellow Vault Hunters, has no confirmed role in Borderlands 4. Zane, the Operative. In Borderlands 3, stealth and gadgets came courtesy of Zane Flint. Yes, of that Flint family. Making him the brother of bandit bosses Captain and Baron Flint from earlier games. Unlike his brutish siblings, Zane was a suave hitman and tech specialist. His action skills let him deploy a digiclone for deception, a barrier for cover, and a drone for sustained fire, making him one of the most versatile Vault Hunters yet. Equal parts charming and ruthless, Zane gave players espionage flair in a game otherwise built on chaos. Flak, the Beastmaster. Rounding out Borderlands 3's roster was Flak, the enigmatic AI wanderer known as the Beastmaster. Neither fully human nor fully machine, Flak roamed the galaxy guided by questions of existence, while commanding loyal pets, skags, spider ants, and jabbers, to tear through enemies. Their action skill trees let players tailor which beast fought alongside them, while Flak sniped from range or struck with precision. In contrast to Zane's tech or Moze's mech, Flak brought a primal edge, a hunter in sync with their companions. Vex, the Siren. Borderlands 4 shifted the fight beyond Pandora. with vaults surfacing across the galaxy and the Crimson Raiders scattered after Lilith's disappearance. Among the new recruits was Vex, the latest siren, but a very different one than Lilith or Amara. Orphaned on Krisha, she learned early that sarcasm hits harder when your fists can't. Her powers didn't look like Amara's astral brawling or Lilith's fiery blasts. Vex fights by summoning spectral allies and chaining their energy through her guns. With Phase Covenant, every weapon she touches shifts element mid-fight. For once, a siren wasn't just bending reality. She weaponized it.
Rafa, the exo-soldier. If Borderlands 4 needed a fist to the face, it got one in Rafa. A gladiator from Partali, Rafa made his name in bloodsport arenas, where survival was the only prize that mattered. He's not subtle. His action skills are grabs, slams, and shockwave punches that turn gunfights into bar brawls. His trait, Brutal Momentum, feeds on melee kills, chaining violence into more speed, more toughness, more carnage. While Amara once showed off siren muscle, Rafa proved you don't need glowing tattoos to break bones. Sometimes, the best weapon on Pandora is still your fists.
Amon, the Forge Knight. Borderlands 4 added something the series hadn't seen before, a vault hunter who turned blacksmithing into blood sport. Amon, the Forge Knight from Promethea, fights with conjured weapons of pure Iridian energy, hammers, axes, and blades that burn hotter than the guns around him. His trait, Forge Skill, supercharges whatever weapon he summons, letting him swap from heavy melee crushes to elemental barrages mid-fight. Where Vex brings ghosts and Rafa brings fists, Amon brings crafted destruction, reforging the battlefield with every swing. He isn't just another gunfighter in the wasteland. He's the Forge itself, and his enemies are the scrap.
Harlowe, the tactician. Every Vault Hunter squad eventually needs someone who can keep the rest alive. In Borderlands 4, that role belongs to Harlowe, the tactician from Eden 6. She is a soldier who turned battlefield scars into strategy. Her action skills keep the team moving. Bulwark Field throws down cover where none exists. Supply Beacon rains ammo and medkits. And Overdrive Orders pushes everyone into high gear. With Command Protocol, allies hit harder just by staying in her formation. Most Vault Hunters charge in guns blazing. Harlowe makes you fight smart, and if you don't follow her lead, you're the one she leaves behind.